Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today, we are doing a video based on Bitcoin's current price action. We're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin's price action, its technical analysis, where it is in the Elliott wave framework. And today, I'm joined, as always, by my very good friend and colleague, Mr. Elliott. Austin, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, round two, buddy. Here we go.
Here we go.
The first take didn't go too well, but we're here for round two. No, I'm excited to talk about Bitcoin. Any opportunity I get to talk about cryptocurrency, especially here with you on the YouTube channel, is always a good time. So, as promised, we will hop into the chart here on Bitcoin. The past few days have been very, very good, right? We opened Saturday, Sunday night, this past weekend. We start to see price action really ramp up, and we actually saw Bitcoin very, very confidently kind of start to break out of this descending channel that it's been in, right? And that alone is very, very bullish, just from a technical analysis perspective. If we go over here to, let's say, the 4-hour, and just draw a nice line from here, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, but you get the idea, right? We broke out very confidently, and there was no slowing down, right? As soon as we broke out, we did see some slight consolidation on smaller time frames, but then we were able to get a nice kind of a very like semi bump and run, right? We didn't really spend much time down there, but we did acknowledge that previous resistance as support, and we did get a nice push off of that. And that led us to where we are now, roughly around 43.9, right? Almost $44,000. It does seem as though currently, right, on local timeframes that we might be running into some resistance here sooner or later. But inevitably, like all in all, Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptocurrency asset class looks extremely, extremely good, right? And if we go over here to our macro timeframes, I do have a nice TA I would like to present to you guys. I believe we've talked about this before. On many different occasions, right? The Elliott wave principle, the idea that Bitcoin is currently in a 5-wave impulse move to the upside. In reality, right, we haven't really been in a bear market since December of 2018, right? We saw that DeFi summer of 2019, which ran Bitcoin all the way up to around, around almost $14,000. We had our COVID capitulation, which brought us down all the way down under $4,000, and we saw the big run up, where we kind of got stuck at present day, right? We got stuck at that $64,000, $69,000 level. And that is actually the 0.618, I believe, of this, right? Of our previous high to our bear market low, from 2017 high to the 2018 low. Our 1.618 extension really roughly resides in the $60,000 area. And that's been the area that's been very difficult for Bitcoin to get above. As you know, Logan, right? That's been kind of the area that we've been looking for a confident break of. And, recently, back in November, we did see a nice run up all the way up to around $69,000, but that was nothing more than a fake out. And then we plunged down further for what seems to be our macro wave 4, right? And if you guys don't know, the classic 5-wave impulse move in Elliott wave principle is a 5-wave move, right? With all the odd waves being fractalized, right? And the even waves being corrective waves. So you have not only is this whole thing a 5-wave move, your first wave is also a 5-wave move, followed by an ABC. Your third wave is also a 5-wave move, followed by an ABC. And then here we are for our 4th wave going up for another 5-wave move. Obviously, this would be, this would be a wave 1. Let's get rid of that. But yeah, the market is looking good and is kind of going according to plan, right? Our target still resides around the area of, mine personally, around the area of $117,000 to $156,000. It could go lower, could go higher, right? That's just a general broad range of kind of where I see the market topping out at. But yeah, it does seem as though our correction could be over on local time frames. I know you mentioned earlier, Logan, that we did kind of experience a zigzag pattern here. If we go to higher time frames, we can visualize that and do a nice little count quick. Yep, we can see that we had our 1, 2, 3. Put our 4th wave right here, and then we had a very, very extended 5th wave, followed by a very, very clear ABC correction, right? And this is kind of where we were range bound between 51,000 and 45,000 for a little while, but then we inevitably ended up falling very impulsively to the downside to complete our correction right here, right? So, and we can see that we also had an extended 5th wave right there as well. So these two impulsive waves took on very similar characteristics, right? Our extended 5th wave dropped there. We had a very extended 5th wave here, and we do seem to be crawling out of the shadows, out of the darkness, by breaking out of this resistance line, and this could be leading us to the first step to price discovery for Bitcoin here in 2022. So yeah, that was a pretty, we talked about a lot. There's also other, bullish things kind of going on with the Bitcoin chart. If we go over here to a blank chart, we can see on the 3-day chart, We can see our secondary indicators, such as our MACD, is actually flipping bullish for the first time since October, right? So that's pretty good, right? And this thing is very, very accurate and consistent on its calls, right? Whenever we get that 3-day MACD cross in either direction, we're usually followed by a very drawn out move in that said direction, right? It doesn't always have to work, but in this range that we've been in throughout 2021, right, between the high 60,000 and the high 29, high 20,000s, this range that we've been in, the 3-day MACD has been extremely reliable for determining macro changes in direction. So, a lot of things are kind of lining up for Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptocurrency asset class. Obviously, altcoins are still kind of floating around. I'm sure we'll start to see them move. Oh, we're seeing, wow. What was Bitcoin at when we started this video? We're moving.
We are definitely moving. And I know XRP is currently up 14% or just about on the day.
Wow.
Nano is having a pretty good, decent day itself.
Ethereum's doing okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, the entire crypto asset class is going to be performing well when Bitcoin is moving.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right, and we're seeing some investor confidence coming back in. When resistances are broken and the sentiment starts to change, you'll see the entire asset class kind of flip green. Yeah, Logan, what are your thoughts?
I'd love you to go back to that Bitcoin chart if you don't mind. The one with
which
the one with your drawings on it perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you could go and you see how our first A wave actually in that zigzag, if you want to drop down to a little bit of a lower time frame.
Yeah.
If you want to take the Fibonacci extension of that wave from the low to the high of wave A.
Oh, okay.
Could you actually take it to the high of that wave?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you actually add on the 127.2,
yep,
you will be able to see that we did reach our cluster there.
Right, and this absolutely would be, yes, this is a big reversal zone. If you guys don't know what Logan Silver is talking about, which you probably do if you watch him a lot, these are Fibonacci retracements or Fibonacci extensions, which is what we just did to the downside, and these typically will showcase price targets and reversal zones, right? And it's really one of the only leading indicators that we use. And if you guys don't know what a leading indicator is, it's just an indicator that doesn't really take previous price action into an account like a moving average, right? You're kind of using previous price action to predict the future. So yeah, right. It's pretty interesting.
I got another one for you. So do you see your wave 3 in wave C?
Yes.
I'd love you to take the Fibonacci extension from there as well.
Right here, right down to our wave 2, or you want it down to the wave 1? Either way, you get the same idea.
Yes, you get the same idea.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely did reach some kind of reversal zone when it comes to a Fibonacci acknowledgement, for sure. And there's just a lot of things lining up bullish right now, and it makes you wonder, what's going to happen here in the next few months and going into Q2 of 2022, and what's going to go on with the equities market, with the S&P 500. There's a lot of questions to be had with that. So seeing, Bitcoin could be leading the pack for all markets right now. Maybe it's just ahead of the game, and we'll see these other markets, such as the equities market and the stock market, start to perform pretty well. So
maybe Bitcoin is the leading indicator.
It could be, right? That's just speculation. Obviously, we talked about this earlier, right? Me and you when we were just discussing it. It does the S&P 500 and Bitcoin correlate necessarily, right? Not all the time. I think it's not as clearly defined as to how these things kind of are relative to each other. I do think they kind of share relative volatility, but today would be a great case against that, right?
Yeah, they definitely do share correlation just due to the fact that they're both risk-on assets. But we've also seen them deviate times in the past, so their correlation is not concrete in my mind.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I could definitely get behind that. Absolutely.
Awesome.
So I guess we're gonna have to see where Bitcoin takes us. A lot of speculation. I do think, right? We've been saying it all along. I do think that this quote unquote, I hate this term, the bull market, bear market, right? It gets thrown around a little bit, probably more than it should. But I think we are definitely still bullish, and even during this entire descent, I was still bullish. Right?
What's the pi cycle tell us, Austin?
Technically, would you say the pi cycle? Well, the pi cycle said cycle top back here in April, right?
Is there a pi bottom?
No. That's why it was confusing, right? The pi cycle flipped very early, and that kind of called. I wouldn't necessarily say it called the top, but it's called a very large macro consolidation, right? And so yeah, that's going to be interesting to watch. If you guys don't know what the pi cycle indicator is, I forgot who it was made by, but you can go just search that up on Google, and it's a very interesting indicater that
It's
utilizes
the Look Into Bitcoin website, right?
Yeah, it utilizes the 111-day moving average and the 350-day moving average, something like that. And pretty much when these two moving averages flip one another at certain times, it typically ends up being very accurate as to calling the top for Bitcoin. Actually, within like a few days, it's been historically very, very accurate. And it did, in fact, flip back here. So yeah, pi cycle's interesting. That's for like a whole nother video though, right?
Yeah.
What are these crazy indicators?
That's a really great
us?
video. We should do.
Yeah, no, there's a ton of stuff. On lookintobitcoin.com, I believe you can go and check out all these indicators for free. I know they have stock to flow on there as well. A lot of the popular indicators that a lot of you guys might know about. So, there's also some other ones that not a lot of people acknowledge, such as the Puel indicator, right? And yeah, so awesome. A lot of different signals thrown around for Bitcoin, but I guess the only thing that's going to really give us the information that we want is time. So time will tell.
Time will tell for sure.
Yeah.
Austin, thank you for coming on again.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Logan.